It's time for the 49ers Rush podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
All right, welcome to another episode of the 49ers Rush podcast. I'm your host, John Chapman, and the 49ers lose a yucky one, man. I don't know what other word works there, but I feel like yucky is exactly how I feel. I'd use a lot more four-letter words right now if my son wasn't listening, but that's okay. The 49ers lose 29-22 in the craziest ending of a game. Lots of games come down to the last play of the game. 4 of the last 5 games for the 49ers have come down to the last play as time expired. This one came down to the final 2 because you get the touchdown reception as what it was called on the field, and then they reversed it, and then they had 2 seconds left somehow, and then they get the touchdown denied, and then it gets reversed again, back-to-back reversal calls against the refs to get the win. So the Falcons win 29-22. So we're going to focus on a lot this episode. One, just get some stuff off our chest and let us know what's going on. But also, a couple other things. One, we got to say, the 49ers are in the playoffs now. The 49ers walk backwards into the playoffs is the phrase that they use a lot of times because guess what? The Rams lost, and so there's now not a statistical way possible, even if the 49ers lose their last 2 games, we are in the playoffs. So first off, let's just step back and say, all right, the 49ers 11-3, worst case scenario 11-5. Nobody had the 49ers going 11-5. To start the season. Nobody did. I thought 9 wins was going to be our cap. You got to be pleased we are in the playoffs. Now, also good news, staying with playoffs. The 49ers still 100% control their destiny for the playoffs. If the 49ers win their next 2 games, no matter what else happens, the 49ers will still be the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. That's just the reality of the situation. Yeah, does it suck that we lost this game? Hell yeah, it does. And we're going to go over lots of reasons why we lost this game, and you guys can probably attest to many of those. But here's what I want you to do. I want you guys to tag me, my live listening crew, at John, and then say the number 1 reason why we lost. I'm very, very curious to poll what you guys think is the number 1 reason that cost us this game. I have my own, ideas that I want to bring to this, but I want to know what you guys say. So at John Chapman, and then tell me what cost us this game. One thing individual. Don't pick 2 or 3 things. One thing that cost us. It could be a player, could be a coach, could be this individual play, whatever. So start getting those. We'll go through those in a second. But let's look now at the playoff seedings. The 49ers currently, we dropped to the 5th seed. We've done this before, right? The Seahawks and 49ers have jumped back and forth between 1 and 5 seed 4 straight weeks. So 49ers are 11-3. We are the 5 seed. If the playoffs were today, we would be playing against the Cowboys at the Dallas Cowboys for the wild card round of the playoffs. However, if we went out, at worst, we will tie everybody else in the division, which would put us ahead of the Seattle Seahawks. Still would put us ahead of them just because of the divisional and the conference record, because we are currently tied with everything despite them beating us once. So if we beat the Seahawks, then we would, 1, have a better record than them because they're 11-3. 2, we'd have a better division record against them. And 3, we would also have a better conference record, so we would win every single tiebreak. Theoretically, there is still a universe where the 49ers could lose next week versus the Rams and then win versus Seattle Seahawks and still be the 1 or 2 seed. That's still a possibility. Nobody wants that, but it is what it is. So we are in the playoffs, and we own tiebreakers against everybody. If we beat the Seahawks, we would own it against the Seahawks. We'd own it against the Packers. We would own it against the Saints. So any ties that are there, because right now the Saints haven't played yet, we are all going to be 11-3. Probably. If the Saints lose, then whatever. But we have the tiebreaker against everyone. Now, there is a world where, if we do lose one more game, You can't lose the Seattle Seahawks game. If you lose that, you cannot win the division, no matter what. Even if the Seahawks lose next week and then beat us, Seattle Seahawks would win the division. We would be the wild card team. There is a way that we could finish as the 6th seed, however, and have to play the Saints. If we lose the next 2 games and go 11-5, and the Minnesota Vikings win the next 2 weeks, that would bump us down to the 6th seed. Not that really matters. The difference is you're going to play the Saints or the Packers instead of the Cowboys. So not ideal, but that's what it is. So those are the playoff things. Those are kind of the playoffs revealings. 49ers are just fine. Yeah, this sucks. I feel gross. I really, really do. I hated the way that game unfolded at the end. So many missed opportunities from everybody. But there's still lots of opportunities. So here we go. Let's get into therapy. Bring it. I want to know what you guys think. What is it that cost us this game? Right here, Fred. If we play like this, we don't deserve shit. Witherspoon is trash. Yeah, he had an awful game. Witherspoon is not good in man coverage. That is just a fact. He is good vertical. He is not good horizontal. And every single time that they matched Julio up against Julio Jones versus Witherspoon, it was an automatic first down, and Witherspoon was nowhere in the frame. He played terrible. Kello Witherspoon played awful. Emmanuel Mosley played pretty damn well. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, some of Julio's best plays were against Emmanuel Mosley, but at least he was in coverage. This is concerning. Yeah, I agree with you guys. This is concerning. For the first time in about a month, the offense just left me scratching my head continuously. In the first half, the play calling was trash. It was trash. There was zero creating on the offensive side, which Kyle Shanahan, I think, is the best offensive coach in football. At worst, he's a top 3. First half was trash. Second half was much better. The 49ers come out, and at least we get some points a little bit late in the second half. And I guess, man, now that I think about it, the only touchdown really that we got in the second half was off of the fumbled punt, so maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. And, I'm going to go through both films, and I'll do my breakout on my Patreon account if you guys want to see those. There's definitely some good things to take away from this game, but there's a lot more bad things. And whenever you go back through film, which the NFL will release the coach's film on Tuesday, which is whenever I'll start the offensive breakdown on Tuesday, defensive breakdown on Wednesday. Again, head over to Patreon. It's an app, or you can go online to patreon.com, type in 49ers Rush Podcast if you want to join and see those. But anyway, we'll have podcasts later on in the week. So here we go. Bogus pass interference against Ward cost us the game. It was a coin flip. I really do think that more bad calls went against the Falcons. Falcons had 11 penalties for 98 yards. We had 7 for 67, and over half of those yards came on that one pass interference. Yeah, probably should have left a flag in the pocket on that one, but he almost caught it anyway. It's what it is. But yeah, I didn't like that call either. Where was Emmanuel Sanders? Emmanuel Sanders' body language was awful all game. It was terrible because, he jumped off sides on a key play. And that play was designed to go to him, I'm pretty sure. That's why he sprinted out of the blocks there before he was going. Missed a route, just didn't even see the ball coming his way. He did not want to. I don't know if he was sick. I don't know what it was. He didn't want to be out there for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. I love Emmanuel Sanders. We need him for the long run. It was bad. I'm with you, Fred. That was awful. Nick, now what? You regather and you go back to the basics. It's gut check time. And the good thing is you now have a home game against a division rival who still has playoff chances, but not against us. The Rams can still be in the playoffs if they win their next 2 games and the Vikings lose their next 2 games. They just can't beat us for the 5 seed. So if we tie, even with our record, it doesn't matter. We can't tie them. We're ahead of them by a full game now. So we've got to come back and go. The Los Angeles Rams are coming to our house, division opponent, and you've got to smack them in the face. You got to make a statement because it's been bad. It's been bad. And so, yeah, that's one thing. You just got to go back to the basics. Establish the run, gut check time, and let's get close. That was a rough one to watch. I'm with you, X. That was rough, man. We did come out healthy. I don't think there was one injury for the 49ers. I could be wrong, and Kyle Shanahan didn't mention one. I missed the first 5 seconds of the press conference. I'll go watch it after this. But, yeah, no injuries, really, from our standpoint. So that's great news. And the two best things you could take away from this game, I agree, Niner by nature. One, we still control our destiny for the 1 seed. Not for the playoffs. We're in the playoffs, so that's number 2. 1, we control our destiny. 2, we're in the playoffs. 3, we're completely healthy out of this game. No injuries during this game, which is key. So we've just got to we've got to step up. How was the Julio catch reviewed if it wasn't a touchdown? That is a good question, Ortiz. So any play can be reviewed within 2 minutes. So that was the kind of call there. And so they stopped the clock there and went in to review it, and probably rightfully so. It was a touchdown. I do agree with the review there, but it pissed me off. I'll tell you that. If you guys were watching the live broadcast over on Hot Mic, first off, thank you. We had a pretty awesome crowd and a lot of great comments going on over there. That was a lot of fun. I'll be broadcasting every 49ers game the rest of the season and through playoffs. So head over to Hot Mic, download the app. It's on Android. It's on everything. Use the promo code or invite code RUSHESF, RUSHESF. So head over there. JP, he says the defense is to blame. Yeah, you gave up 29 points. Now, the last 6 is misleading, but 23 points, that is kind of key. And if we look at what the Falcons were able to do, the thing that pissed me off the most, 7 of 13 on third down conversions. And a lot of that was the man coverage on the back end. We could not guard one player. You let one player beat you today. That's all it is. Julio Jones beat the 49ers. And, you know, if the 49ers won, you could have said the same thing on the other side, that George Kittle beat the Falcons, but he didn't. Julio Jones goes 13 catches, 134 yards, and 2 damn touchdowns. You let one guy, and you didn't make any adjustments, and you didn't do anything to take one player out of the game. Yeah, Julio's all-world. You can make the argument he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. You can make the argument he's the best wide receiver in 20 years. Don't care. I'm taking away your best threat. That's all there is to it. And our defense doesn't do that. And our defense pass rush was trash. We got 1 sack. Oh, we got 2 sacks. Bosa got 1, and Sheldon Day got 1. That's it. That's trash. The pass rush was terrible. And here's the deal. I'm going to wait. I'm about to get mad. I'm about to get mad. Yeah, Nick, no pass rush. You see me, I calm myself down. My wife would be proud of me. Offensive line performance. The interior offensive line could not block one person. Again, we allowed one person on defense to shut us down, Grady Jarrett. We allowed one person on offense to shut us down, Julio Jones. And that's coaching. If you can't, there's 11 people out there. If you can't adjust and beat one person, then that's on you. Kyle Shanahan, conservative play calling cost us the game. In the first half, I agree with you. Now, the second half, he goes for it. And here's the thing. If George Kittle, and nobody wants to blame George Kittle for the game. I'm not doing that at all. I'm not. George Kittle is amazing. But that fumbled play at the end of the game cost us. If he would have had the first down with ease, and he just dropped the ball. He was just carrying it, one in the wrong arm. And a big reason why you don't carry in that one is you don't want to run into the way you're running. You don't want the ball because it hits your body too much. You carry it in the off one, it just takes a lot of pressure off the ball. So that was key. If he would have got the first down there, game probably would have been over. But yeah, that was a big one. I didn't like the conservative play calling at all. Passing defense. Yeah, that was not good at all. And it wasn't the safeties. I really don't. Marcel Harris played very, very well. I think Jimmy Ward played well. I think Emmanuel Mosley would have been the player of the game. We didn't hear DJ Reed's name at all. They weren't really going after him. It was Akello Witherspoon, and it was just lack of initiative by the defensive play calling. Zero creativity. You've got to go over during your week. All right. Hey, Coach, what happens if Julio Jones is going all crazy like Julio Jones does? Oh, we're just going to stay in our same set. Oh, really? We're not going to adjust anything? No, we're just going to stay in our same set the whole time. Yes, the whole time. What if it's the last play of the game on the 5-yard line? What are we going to do? Oh, no, we're just going to put one guy on Julio Jones. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing there? I believe in the system. I believe in the cover 3. I love it. I love the defensive scheme, and I like Robert Saleh. But he is not a adjustment coach. You know, the thing that makes Bill Belichick, besides the cheating, so great is he is able to adjust on the fly and take away what you're trying to do. And we don't do that. We really, really don't. We just say, oh, no, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Really, you don't want to change it? Nope, just stay with it. We're good. Here we go. Every third stroke, great. That's a great name there. We lost because our offense got centered around Kittle. We can't go that one-dimensional. Yeah, both teams did the exact same thing, and you got to give props to Kittle. 13 catches, 134 yards, but no touchdowns. And that's kind of the difference in the game. Both teams, Julio had 13 for 130, and Kittle had 13 for 130, but we just didn't get the touchdowns. We just didn't get it. So we lost because we let Ryan to keep plays alive on that last drive. Yeah, that was bad, man. It was bad. The defense should win the games. I believe that. And Kyle Shanahan even said this. Look, I wasn't going to go for it on 4th and 2. If it was 4th and 1, maybe, but it was 4th and 2. And I wanted them to drive the whole length of the field against our defense. And now I'm going to get into mine. And this is where I think what cost us the game. Kyle Shanahan had the right attitude. We're going to punt it to them and force them to drive the ball the length of the field against our defense. Robert Saleh, however, chose not to do that. He went into a prevent defense mode. We had a 10-plus yard cushion on the outside corner several different times and just allowed them to march down the field. Julio Jones runs like a 5-yard slant route, and we're belling. The outside corner bells. We just allow him to cross the middle of the field. Nobody's within 5 yards of him. 20 yards downfield, nobody's within 5 yards of him. That prevents defense crap. So that's your adjustment. They got to go the whole field. They have one timeout. What are we going to do? Oh, back everybody up. Back them all up, and let's just allow them the cushion to throw underneath. We let them drive the entire field in less than 40 seconds with ease. 0 contested catches, 0 pressure, no press coverage whatsoever. Oh, man. If you want to know what really lost the game, in my opinion, is that last defensive series by the coaching staff. You took the players out of the game and just said, oh, don't let them behind you. Prevent defense does one thing. Prevents you from winning the damn game. And it did that today. You play defense. There's a reason why you don't go out there and play prevent defense on the first quarter, because it doesn't damn work. If you're up by more than one touchdown, then sure. But you're not. You're up 6 points, and you're only up 6 points because your damn field goal kicker mixed in an extra point. One of my quotes that keeps getting thrown back in my face, and I appreciate it because I think it proves my point. I said if we sign Robbie Gould, that's a difference in 2 games this year. We will win 2 additional games with Robbie Gould over a replacement kicker. And guess what? We've lost 3 games because of kicking. 3. You go back to the Ravens loss. You go back to the Seahawks loss. So real quick, okay? Seahawks. We miss a 47-yarder with our backup kicker. Okay, then we go to the Ravens. You miss a 48-yard kick with Robbie Gould. It's in the rain, whatever. Then you go to the Falcons. We miss an extra point because our kicker. So that's 3 games. We're 11-3. Hell of a record. All 3 losses, freaking kicker. Now, I would have said special teams, but we got the huge punt return fumble with Kyle Juszczyk and Roz Dwelly, who's not getting any more snaps, but he made a hell of a play. So I don't want to blame this on special teams. I want to blame it on the coaching and the kicking. I really do think that's the issue. And the fact that we've only lost 3 games and all 3 have been at the end of the damn game, I mean, the 49ers can play with anybody, but that's not what we want. We want the 49ers to be the best team out there. We want the 49ers to be a Super Bowl contender, and I think that they still are. But, man, this was the ugliest game the 49ers have had all year. Now, we lost at the last second. Now, the 6 points by the whatever, throwing the ball around and all that stuff, and they recover it for a touchdown. That's what it is. But why don't you have a play like that called? Like, here's another thing, too, as coach. I don't care if you've coached middle school, high school, college, whatever. You at least practice at some point, hey, there's going to be a time in the year where we're going to have to do this kickoff return with no time left on the clock. Let's at least practice it. 49ers had no clue what the hell to do. They're not prepared for certain situations, and that's coaching. That's just game, situation, coaching. You have to go over, okay, what happens if this guy's having an all-world day? Okay, here's what we're going to do. What happens whenever we're receiving the ball with no time left on the clock? What are we going to do? Okay, there's 1 second left and we're at the 50. What are we like? You need to practice those things. And I'm pretty convinced defensively and special teams, we haven't done those things. Offensively, I think we have with Kyle Shanahan, but I don't think defensively they planned for those. I don't think special teams, if you go back and watch that special teams return, which, whatever, it's a shot in the dark, but still, I think it's a microcosm for what these problems are. We're not prepared. Not prepared. In several different situations. The coaches are not putting their players in the best position to be successful. And it comes from the top, okay? Robert Saleh pissed me off this week, and we still have one of the best defenses in the NFL. And I'm not trying to say we don't, but it's definitely not looking like what it was. You know, we give up 29 points to the Falcons and 48 points to the Saints, 46 points to the Saints. And so here's the difference, okay? The first 8 weeks of the NFL season, one team scored 20 or more points. From week 9 on, one team hasn't scored 20 points. I just saw that on my own just by looking at the box score. You're welcome. It pisses me off even more. So again, weeks 1 through 8, one team scored 20. Weeks 9 through 15, every team but one has scored 20. And that was the Green Bay Packers, who have a great offense. Yeah, that's interesting. That's really, really interesting. So a couple other things. George Kittle fumble was bad too. Yeah, that was huge. We talked about that one. Can you explain the last play was reversed if it wasn't ruled a touchdown at first? Because it's within 2 minutes. Within 2 minutes, they can stop and review anything. It has nothing to do. So the rule is the entire game has 2 sets of rules when it comes to review. Okay, number 1, any scoring play or turnover is automatically reviewed. Otherwise, the coach has to challenge it. Okay, now they can challenge it at any point, but within 2 minutes, they can challenge anything automatically. So that's why that happened, Ortiz. Good question. Good question. What the hell happened to our other damn wide receivers? The wide receivers didn't have a catch in the second or third quarter. We had a catch in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. Second and third quarter, no wide receivers. Debo continues to have drops. He's up among the leaders in drops in the NFL. Kendrick Bourne, another huge drop. It was a tough catch, but still. And yeah, people are going to blame Jimmy Garoppolo, and maybe they have it right. He goes 22 of 34 for 200 yards, 1 touchdown. And so let's present both sides of the argument, and you can pick which side you're on, okay? Let's do the pro Jimmy Garoppolo argument. We have begged this guy to stop making stupid big mistakes that cost us with fumbles and interceptions. He goes out there and has a 90 quarterback rating. No fumbles, no interceptions. He has a great completion percentage, 22 of 34, 200 yards. Didn't cost us the game. But now let's do the con. He didn't win us the game either. He didn't attempt, I don't think, one pass downfield over 20 yards. I really don't think he did. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo completed one 20-yard deep pass. I'm going to look at the stats that'll come out tomorrow, and I'll let you know if that's correct. So, pro Jimmy side, he didn't cost us the game. Con, he didn't win us the game, and he didn't even try to. And that was going against one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. They had 3 out of 5 guys out, too. We did as well, but they pushed us deep. We didn't push it deep. I think that's the problem. So, if you are the anti-Jimmy crowd, then I think that you've got an argument today. But again, no interceptions and no fumbles. And that's what we've been asking for. So, from that point, he didn't feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Look, company, I didn't touch him. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't look comfortable back there. It's what it is. Why didn't we jam the heck out of them receivers? A double team on, yeah, I'm with you, Russ. It makes 0 sense. And then again, we kept putting freaking Marcel Harris back there as free safety. They wanted to take Austin Hooper out of the game with Jimmy Ward, which worked relatively well. Hooper didn't have that great of a game. He had 3 catches for 20 yards. But, man, yeah, at some point you got to put their best player, you got to take him out. Kittle finished the game with 2,780 career yards. This is from just another OEF combat vet. Thank you for your service, sir. Beats Ditka record by 4 yards so far. Yeah, Kittle now owns the record for most receiving yards ever by a tight end through 3 years. Yeah, he's special, and he's not done. He's got 2 more games left in the regular season, and you look at all the plays that he left on the field with all those damn penalties. I think he had 4 touchdowns called back. We lost because no one came prepared for the coaching staff to the players. Yeah, it was flat. It was flat. I agree with you. And Kyle Shanahan said this. Look, this is the Falcons Super Bowl. This is the game. They had that onside kick that we got lucky right out of halftime with. Elijah Lee got yanked off of the kickoff return team, but they should have got that one. This game could have been way worse. Could have been way worse. One, you had the onside kick, which they recovered, but because somebody wasn't out there, that's a penalty. That's a loss of a possession. Then they get that huge punt return, 50-plus yard punt return called back on a penalty that was kind of spotty, pushed them all the way back against their own goal line. 3, the punt return fumble, you change that one play, that's huge in and of itself. And now we did have that 20-play drive, which was pretty special, but that was aided by a huge penalty, roughing the passer, which was a good call, but it's still huge. How do we stop the quick passing game? That seems to be how teams neutralize it. Yeah, everybody's doing the same damn thing now. You're right. Ultimate Boy 999, thank you so much. You are right. Everybody's throwing the ball quick because we play off. We play off. Richard Sherman is the guy that likes to get up and press, and he doesn't do it all the time. He does it a lot less than what he used to when he was with Seattle, but he still does it sometimes. But you've got to take that away. You've got to take that away, and we haven't done so. And it's going to be problematic for sure. Has your opinion changed for Coleman? No, I think Coleman's the exact same guy as I thought he was. Lots of 1 and 2 yard carries, and then if you give him space, he'll bust a huge one. So the question is with Tevin Coleman, if you want him to be effective, you've got to give him the ball a lot. And he keeps starting the game, which I think is just ridiculous. Tevin Coleman goes 4 carries for 40 yards. I'm okay with him getting 4 carries. You know, he came out the first drive, we go 3 and out. Second half, he comes out first drive, we go 3 and out. And so anytime he's out there, I don't like it. But if he is going to be out there, you got to give him the carries. He had that one huge explosive run for 37 yards. So he had 3 carries for 3 yards and then 1 carry for 37. And that was a huge explosive, which gave us some points. But there's no doubt Raheem Mostert's the best running back by far. Not only did he go 14 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown, but he also had a catch for 5 yards, and he had 2 tackles on special teams. The guy is doing everything. It didn't look like Julio had a second foot down until the ball wasn't crossing the goal line. So, Cyber, so if the ball is in bounds, okay, as soon as the defender makes contact with the ball carrier, so that's where it matters. So even if Julio Jones, both feet are in the air, and he catches the ball and gets picked up by a defender, then put 5 yards back, the ball matters as soon as the defender makes contact with him, as long as he is currently established before the catch. Okay, so essentially, great question here by Jeremy. So because it was in the middle of the field, Julio was established. He never came in from out of bounds. If he jumps from the goal line, out and catches it in the air and his feet aren't down, it doesn't matter until a player makes contact with him. So as soon as the defender, Jimmy Ward or whomever, touches him, where the ball is at that point, it doesn't even matter if his foot's down or not. The only time the second foot matters is going out of bounds. That's the only time. Play calling looked vanilla. Yeah, I agree with all these things. Special teams had big plays today. Otherwise, yeah, I'm with you again. I love you guys. You guys know what the hell you're talking about. I love this. And it was rough. Will this hurt Salah's head coaching opportunities? A lot of people think he's going to get a head coaching job. The NFL is changing dramatically to a time period where, man, unless you are an offensive play caller, you're not getting a damn job. You have to have some type of, you got to either be good quarterback developer, part of the Kyle Shanahan, McVay coaching tree. You've got to be a part of something like that. You look at the Denver Broncos and their head coach, who went everywhere from the 49ers to the Bears, and he put together the best defenses for a decade. Still took him forever to get a head coaching job. So I think Saleh still got some time. I don't think that he's ready for a head coaching gig yet, just because I don't think teams want to hire defensive-minded head coaches unless they're otherworldly. And you're right. he definitely proved today he is not whatever, fill in the blank, but it is what it is. Man, we took a rough spot today in our betting pool. We didn't win either one of them with mybookie.ag, but here's the deal. We are still up gigantic on the year. We hit back-to-back parlays the last 2 weeks, but this Niners game cost us today for sure. And again, you look at a 10.5-point favorites, and then you lose by 7. Yikes, that is an 18-point swing. And obviously the touchdown at the end was key. But mybookie.ag, we're going to have some more bets this week coming up. So use promo code 49ers to sign up. They are the #1 betting site on the internet for college football, pro football, sports, basketball, boxing, whatever it is. You can bet on everything. You can bet on badminton over there. And they have the most prop bets of any site as well. So what you need to do is head over to mybookie.ag, use promo code 49ers, 49ERS. They're going to double your initial deposit, and they have great customer service. If you have any questions, you're not sure how something works, you can call in anytime, 24/7. They are always there to help you. Love this website and what they do for us. They've been with us for a long time. Really, really appreciate what they do for us. So that's mybookie.ag, the #1 sports betting site online, and you can bet from anywhere. Awesome mobile app as well. So mybookie.ag, head over there, use promo code 49ERS. All right, how do you feel about Suggs as a temporary pass rush? I would love to get Suggs, and I know that he came out and said, oh, if people don't let me go to the Ravens, I'm going to just not show up. I don't care. We are the 31st, which is going to reset this week. We won't be the 31st. We're dropping down to like 26th. Will be like 26th, 27th waiver wire claim. So, yeah, you put him in there. You put it, and if he wants to retire and just be like a baby and go home, that's fine. We could use him. We're playoff caliber, and I would put a claim in there just to be a dick, because I hate people that are like, oh, if life's not perfect for me, then I'm just going to take my ball and go home. So I'm not going to let that happen, especially the Ravens, who are probably the best team in football right now. So let's see here. Coach Timo, John, you pegged this one correctly. Our defense failed to make adjustments. Our offense was lazy. Yeah, we got to make adjustments, and we did not do so, and I think that's problematic. We need Janoris Jenkins after watching Witherspoon. Man, I wouldn't mind. I don't want Janoris Jenkins. His talent is legit, but I don't think what he said is welcome in San Francisco's culture. They are probably the most politically correct city in the NFL with what he said. I don't know. Anyway, personally, I want Emmanuel Mosley and I want Richard Sherman as my outside corners. And Ahkello Witherspoon's good. He's just not good against Julio Jones. And so, if you look at the game last week, Ahkello played great. And he's played great all year. Just maybe not against Julio Jones. Thankfully, we don't have to play against Julio Jones anymore this year. He can't hurt us anymore, guys. He can't hurt us. We seemed to force feed Kittle all night. Was it simply because wanted him to break the record? No, it's not what it was at all. They took away our wide receivers. They were jamming at the line, which they didn't do a lot of. They were playing off man. Which is tough to throw the slant route against the off man, which is our favorite route. And so, we just checked down to Kittle. I think a lot of that was the Jimmy Garoppolo didn't seem comfortable, and after a couple drops, he just got even more, I guess, less comfortable is what I was looking for. So that it wasn't like the plays were called to Kittle. A lot of those plays were checkdowns where he was the outlet, and so you'd see Garoppolo go through one or two progressions and then check down to Kittle, which that's fine. Again, back to the pro or con Jimmy argument. He didn't make mistakes. Okay, I don't think we lost this game because of Jimmy Garoppolo. I really don't. 22 for 33 for 34 passes, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, no fumbles. We didn't lose it because of him, but we didn't win it. He didn't win it. He could have won it. And so we want the aggressive guy, but whenever he's aggressive and then it goes bad, we're just like, oh, we don't want the aggressive guy. Go back to being just, whatever. And so that's rough. If we claim Suggs, even if he sits out, make that boy retire. Just keep. Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Fred. If we claim Suggs and he wants to retire, fine, no problem. We've got Dante Johnson out there. I don't mind waiving him just to see. Nobody's going to pick him up. We could get him again, as we have over and over and over again. Anyway, why don't we play press? Yeah, that's a preference. Ahkello Witherspoon's just not physical enough. He can't do it. Manuel Mosley will do it some, but what they did a lot of times is whenever Julio Jones was on the outside, it'd be a trips, it'd be a 3-by-1 set, and so he could be off the line of scrimmage sometimes, which is going to take that away. But yeah, we've got to be able to press against somebody. And I'm trying to think, if we look at the teams that we're going to play in the playoffs, none of them have a dynamic wide receiver like Julio on the outside. The Saints, Michael Thomas, who I think is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, he plays out of the slot more often than not, and he's not a deep threat. He's an underneath guy. Cowboys have Amari Cooper, but I don't put him anywhere in that category. You do have Devontae Adams, who that is a guy that is a Julio-like receiver. Seattle Seahawks don't have anybody. The Vikings do have Stefon Diggs and Thielen, but again, they're not overwhelming physical presence on the outside. So there's nobody really in the NFC playoffs that has somebody that really concerns me. The two that are similar to Julio, Devontae Adams would be one, and then probably Amari Cooper. But again, Amari Cooper is the JV version, and that's putting it kindly, of Julio Jones. And Michael Thomas, who I think is a great receiver, he's a possession underneath guy. He's not a speed guy. He's big, but he doesn't play that way. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for us, guys. And I just want to say thank you. It's a rough night, but there's still some great things. The 49ers still best record in the NFC, still completely control their destiny. But we keep saying that, and that's awesome. Start to finish, we've been, right up top. And for the first time, we don't have the best record in football. The Ravens best us by a game. So take that for what you will, but we got lots of good things coming your way, and we will be back on Wednesday on here with another podcast breaking down the offense and all those things. And if you want to see that film, the game film, broke down with me over it, we do almost a full hour breakdown on the offense and another full hour on the defense. You just got to go over to patreon.com, type in 49ers Rush Podcast, come join us over there. That's year-round. We do, obviously, game film each week, 2 games a week, and then we move into draft coverage and breaking down schemes and stuff in the offseason. I've got some pretty exciting news. I put up a thing about interns, and I just want to say thanks. I need help with film just because I only have so much time. We're broadcasting 8 times a week now, and so it's a lot of time. I have another full-time job as well, so I needed some help. Had 12 people reach out to help cut up film, so I'm hoping to get a lot more of that out. Here's my next request, baby. Here we go. I need a social media manager, which sounds so douchey. I'm sorry, but I need somebody that can help download video. Basically, here's what you would do, okay? And eventually, this will be a paid position. It's not going to be at the outset. And what's going to happen is I'll send out the major videos. The interns splice those up, and they're going to send them to you, and you would be posting those videos all across social media platforms to help grow the podcast. And again, allowing me to put more time into the podcast instead of just clicking and loading stuff. So I need somebody that can handle, Facebook videos, posting videos on Facebook, Twitter. I'm going to start an Instagram because why not? We're cool. Things like that. So if you are interested in that, again, eventually I would like that to be a paid position relatively soon, but I want to make sure that you're qualified and you can handle all those things. Just email me, 49ersrushpodcast@gmail.com, or DM me on Twitter at JL_Chapman. You can see that on the side there. But again, let me know why you should do that, or why I should hire you to do that, and what you bring to the table. So reach out to me, and let's just keep growing this bad boy. Just because our team had a rough game today, don't let it get you down. And as soon as somebody talks trash tomorrow, all you got to do is say, guess what? We still control our destiny, and we have the best record in the NFC. Get out my face. So there it is. As always, love you guys. Stay strong, faithful.